Hola a toda la comunidad de Disruptivo, yo soy Juan del Cerro, muy contento el día de hoy de estar aquí con ustedes, estamos en una entrevista especial. Se acordarán ustedes que en un episodio del podcast hace poco entrevistamos a Conovo, una empresa social mexicana que se dedica a replicar en México proyectos de otros países. Una de sus iniciativas es Hippocampus, un proyecto de educación en la India que hoy en día están replicando en México. El día de hoy y la idea de esta entrevista especial es porque está aquí en México con nosotros Umesh, quien es el fundador de Hippocampus en la India y quien hoy está junto con Conovo haciendo el esfuerzo para traer Hippocampus a México. La entrevista va a ser en inglés, pero bueno, los invito a que se queden porque esta empresa social está generando muchísimo impacto en la India y nos van a contar hoy todo sobre sus planes para aterrizar aquí en México.
Esta es una presentación de Podcastería.
Umesh, hi, thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
We're very glad to have you in Disruptivo. Thank you very much. We'll start talking about Hippocampus. I just introduced you, but I also want to introduce Luis. Además de Umesh, nos acompaña Luis, que Luis es justamente la persona responsable, el que está dirigiendo los esfuerzos de Hippocampus acá en México, y Luis nos va a contar un poquito también sobre ese trabajo. Bueno, vamos a pasar y que nos cuenten qué es Hippocampus. Umesh, just so we can start, can you first, before we start talking about Hippocampus, could you please introduce yourself? What is it that you do? How long have you been working in social entrepreneurship?
My name is Umesh Malhotra. I live in a city called Bangalore in India, in south of India. And Bangalore is also known as the Silicon capital of India.
Okay.
My career is divided into two halves. The first half, for the first 12-13 years, I was working in technology. For the last 12-13 years, I've been working in social enterprises around education. For the first 5-6 years with libraries, and for the last 6 years with early education and schools.
Okay. Can you please tell us when you started working in education, where did the idea for Hippocampus came from?
Okay, so for this current project which I am doing, which is the early education centers, I was in a village running a library with the local community there. So I was talking to the local community of the library. And the community came to me and said, this library is fantastic, our children are learning a lot, but the quality of education which we are getting in our villages is not good enough. And we need somebody to come and help us improve this quality. So I asked the community saying, the government system offers this for free. So why do you need me to come? They said, but it's not good. So I said, but if I have to give you something good, it's going to cost you money. Are you willing to pay for it? Otherwise, if the government does it for free and they're doing a bad job. And the village overwhelmingly said, yes, if you do a good job and give them good education, teach them English, we will find money to pay for our education of the children. And that was when we said, we will start kindergartens and schools in villages.
I really like that we start with that because one of the biggest paradigm changes that we always say that we need to have in social entrepreneurship, we need to understand that people, even people in vulnerable communities, are willing to pay and are willing to invest their money in good services, in quality services that solve their issues. And a lot of people believe that, the only way to bring services to these people is through charity. But if you provide something and you do something well, they are going to be willing to buy and pay for their services. So can you explain us the model of Hippocampus, simple, because you already said that they are preschool centers for communities in poverty conditions. But can you explain us the integral model, because Hippocampus has a very interesting proposal.
So what we do is we work in villages. In villages there's no access for preschools for people. We go into a village, we rent a space there, then we find a local teacher. So we hunt in the village for people who can be good teachers. We have a strong model of recruitment. Around 15% of people who apply for a job get a job. So we recruit, then we train them well, and we give them a very standardized curriculum to execute in the classroom. And all the children who come to the centers come from locations nearby.
Right.
So children can walk to the preschool. Maybe, 5-minute walk, 10-minute walk maximum, they come to the preschool. And all the children pay a fee, and this fee covers the cost of the rent, covers the cost of the teacher salary, and covers the cost of training and monitoring, therefore making it a sustainable center.
It's a very interesting model, especially if we think that those communities, there is no other option for education at that level. So you are not only improving the quality of the education, but actually giving an opportunity for education that they didn't have before. So I'm assuming that doesn't only change the quality of the education for the children, but it creates a whole dynamic with the community, because you also employ people from the community, so it sort of creates a whole very holistic change in the community.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, very truly. It sort of takes inspiration from what Mahatma Gandhi used to emphasize, saying that every community has to be self-sufficient. He had this thing called Swaraj, which is everybody has to be self-sufficient, and if you can make villages self-sufficient, then that's the future of prosperity for villages. So what we have done is we have gone ahead and provided or made a village have the ability to provide preschool services for its own students through teachers from the village.
It's an amazing model. I love the Hippocampus when we first talked to Conovo, and it's amazing that you guys now are doing it in Mexico and that you are able to come here. You've had a great impact in India. You've grown, you've opened a lot of centers. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
We operate more than 300 installations of preschool in India. We have had very interesting experiences where we work with a variety of village sizes. We work with villages as small as 4,000 or 5,000 people to towns with a population of 25,000-30,000 people. So we have a wide range. We have also seen people coming to us and taking a franchise for what we are doing. So people say, I want to work in my village, and it might not be in our roadmap, but they come and take a franchise. What has been further surprising is we have seen private schools, we charge a fee, come to us and say, we like what you're doing in preschool. We want to add a preschool to our school. Or we're already doing a preschool, we want to take your program and put it in our preschool. So we're seeing various implementations of our program happening across the board.
And I can assume that this was an impact that you expected in the beginning. All these new ways of implementing.
Completely. We didn't expect it. Right? Many things happen. That's because, like in Mexico, right? We didn't expect it. It just happened because people heard about us, did their evaluations, and said these people are doing good work, so let's work with them.
It's amazing. It's truly inspiring, and a huge congratulations for everything that you've accomplished. And now I'm going to turn the table to Luis, the camera to Luis. Luis, now you guys are bringing this to Mexico. Tell us, we already know about the Conovo part, and I encourage everybody to go and hear the story of Conovo because it's very interesting. But, how did it start? How did the first initiative of bringing Hippocampus to Mexico, and what has the process been so far?
Thank you, Juan. Well, Germán, who's actually the brain behind the idea, he started identifying that there's a huge need for early childhood education services in Mexico that is not really being serviced at the time. So we benchmarked over 35 different companies around the world that are delivering a service, and we had two main metrics, that it was scalable and that it was sustainable. And in the end we boiled down to three, and the top one that we were left with was Hippocampus in India. And Germán had the pleasure of visiting Umesh actually a few months ago in India and see the operations running.
And you guys, we know this part of the story. You guys started working together, created a partnership, and you guys are now working on the first pilot here in Mexico. How is that pilot? What's the stage? Are you guys open yet? When are you guys going to open? Where are you guys going to open? Mexico is a big country. Tell us a little bit about Mexico.
Fair enough. Our first center is due to open August 22nd. It's going to be in a town called San Cristobal, in a municipality called San Francisco del Rincon in the state of Guanajuato. It's a town that has about 4,000 people population. And the interesting thing about this one specific center is that we've partnered up with a local vegetable processing facility that employs a lot of moms and who have the need to have their kids stay somewhere safe and where they can be properly incentivized and engaged so that they can begin their learning process.
Which is another, from what I understand, it's a new way of implementing the centers. You guys haven't done this partnership with companies in India, which opens also a new opportunity for you guys over there.
Completely. I think when Herman told us about this idea, what he was doing, we went and spoke to a company which does garment manufacturing. And surprisingly, they turned around and said, that makes sense. We have women working with us in our factories, and we should be running a proper early child center in our factories. So we are running it in 8 centers. So there's a lot of learning which not only we are able to give them, but we're able to learn from Mexico and take it to India.
It's becoming a symbiotic relation. That's amazing. I know you are just starting. This is your first trip to Mexico. But I don't want to ask the difference between Mexico and India because it could be a very wide question. but more so, Mexico is the first country that you guys start internationalizing to, expanding to. What have been the biggest challenges in that? Has it been that Mexico is too different of a country? Is it, that working in a new country is just difficult on its own? Have you found anything specific?
So I think with Mexico, the key challenge is obviously the fact that the main language here is Spanish, and therefore our current program, which is built in English or the Indian languages, does not necessarily fit directly. There are a lot of adaptation work which we have to do for Mexico. The second thing which I've understood a challenge in Mexico is going to be with the regulations being a bit different here than in India, which we have adapted to. Third thing which I'm very interested in seeing is understanding what are the aspirations of Mexican parents.
Oh, okay.
Right? That's a question which I'm very, very keen when the first center opens. How will Mexican parents behave differently from Indian parents? Do they have different dreams? Do they have different aspirations? How important education for them? Right? So that's what I would be very keen and really watching.
Because I'm assuming it's an abyss of difference between, what this education means for children in India and what this education means for children in Mexico, especially a community like San Cristobal. Luis, are you guys planning, or are you guys already hired local people from the community to run the center as well, just like in India?
Just like in India. In reality, we're trying to match as much as possible the elements that allow Hippocampus to scale so quickly and so properly. And being able to select women from the local town, even with that selection rate that Umesh was just sharing with us, the 15% is remarkable. And we will be doing the same. Actually, we will begin the process next week.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent. Guys, I wish you the best of luck with the opening of the center. I really hope that we can talk further and learn more about Hippocampus in India and the new countries, because I am guessing that when you open the floodgates to Mexico after you have the pilot, you're gonna start getting a lot of interest from other countries to do it as well.
Well, we're ready for Spanish-speaking countries. So
Excellent.
The whole Latin America is ready for us.
Excellent. We'd love to learn more about the story, how that develops. Umesh and Luis, one last question before we leave, because Disruptivo is always very selfish and it cuts good conversations short. We always recommend to the people that are listening to us a book or a movie or something that can help them in their own entrepreneurial development. Do you guys have anything that you would like to recommend for our viewers?
I would recommend for people who are interested in education to possibly read The Beautiful Tree by James Tooley.
Okay.
The book obviously documents what happened in the affordable private school space, but what is critical is it documents the desire amongst parents for a better education for the children. For me, it's a documentation of aspiration.
Okay.
And since we're here with Umesh, I would like to recommend Gandhi's autobiography. It's called My Experiments in Truth. And it's a dense book, but it explains how this gigantic character that we all admire was really human, and he made a lot of mistakes, and how he developed from a regular person to someone with no hair and barely any clothing on. And it's a remarkable story on how if we are keen and follow a path, we can achieve amazing things.
Excellent. Well, guys, thank you very much. Where can we learn more about Hippocampus, both in India and in Mexico?
You can learn about Hippocampus at hippocampus.in/HLC.
Awesome.
The website.
And hippocampus.mx.
And Hippocampus in social networks here in Mexico, are you guys already in Twitter, Facebook?
We're in the process of developing them. If they Google us up in a couple of weeks, we'll be there.
Awesome. Excellent. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. I know you've had a very busy agenda, but it's awesome content for our community.
No, I think thanks for having us over. No, I enjoyed sharing what we have learned with people in Latin America.
I don't know, if you realize it, but it's very inspiring and it's very motivating for all our viewers and community in Mexico. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias a toda la comunidad de Disruptivo. Aprendan más sobre Hippocampus, sobre su increíble trabajo. Y si no lo han escuchado, regresen y escuchen el podcast de Conovo. Está por ahí de los episodios 90 y tantos. Vale mucho la pena conocer ese modelo tan interesante de trabajo. Muchísimas gracias a todos, muchísimas gracias a ustedes. Ya saben, nos pueden seguir en las redes @DisruptivoTV en todos lados. Muchísimas gracias, suscríbanse a nuestro canal. Hasta luego.
Disruptivo aparece cada semana gracias a Podcastería.